Welcome to the IGCSE November 24, Paper 1, Question 24 walkthrough. You should have had a go at the question on the mark scheme and use the mark scheme and be looking as to figure out what did you do right, how can you be getting full marks, what else could you be doing. After this question, there is another question similar to do for you to do on your own, which you can pause and then listen to me walk through or walk through it with me, depending on you. And then there are two further questions on the mymathstutor.web page. Now, to be quite clear, vectors is one of these crucial topics to get a 9. You need to have done every question on vectors. At some point when I'm ready, I'll put a walkthrough of every vectors question I can find as a separate bit of thing on YouTube for you to find. Right, so let's have a look at the question. So the first thing we have to do is find A to Q. A to Q, when I look at it, is AQ equals AO plus OQ, which is minus 10A plus 1/5, because it says in the question, of OB. So that's plus 2B, which I can write as 2B minus 10A. Now, II is, to find O to P, you need to find OA first. OA is minus 10A plus 10B. We know AP is going to be a quarter of AB, which equals minus 10 over 4A plus 10 over 4B, which is 5 minus 5 over 2A plus 10B. O to P equals OA plus OQ, which is 10A plus minus 5 over 2A, 5 over 2B, which gives me 15 over 2A plus the 5 over 2B. Right, now, moving on to the III, which I was asked to find OR. So we're asked to find OR. The art of finding OR is to have two equations which are similar and use multiples. So two vector journeys. So OR is a multiple of OP. So it's just going to write that as KOP, where K is my multiple. So I'm just going to write that as K, 15 over 2A plus 15 over 2B. So that is one way of writing OR. Now another way of writing OR is O to A plus another multiple of A to Q. O to A is 10A. So my multiple is going to be m lots of 2B minus 10A, which gives me 10 minus 10m A's plus 2m B's. Right. I'm just going to enlarge this so you can see it all. Right. So we need to compare our A coefficients and our B coefficients. I'm just going to write A's here. So 15 over 2k must be the same as 10 minus 10m. Sorry. That would have been clearer, wouldn't it? Right. Now if we look at our B coefficients, 2m must be the same as 5 over 2k. This tells me n is 5 over 4k. Now I'm going to substitute that into that. So I've got 15 over 2k equals 10 minus 10 times by 5 over 4k. So 15 over 2k plus 25 over 2k equals 10. So k equals 10 over 20. Oh, sorry, 20 over 40, which is 1 over 2. Using that, now this is the bit lots of people get k and they think I'm done. And having marked for this paper, lots of people that went to do this, having done the hard work, forgot to write it out. We are working out OR. So OR is a half of 15 over 2a plus 5 over 2b, which is 15 over 4a plus 5 over 4b. Right. Now, you'll go. Have a look at the we do. Pause it if you want to spend your time doing it, please. Right. So the first thing we're going to do is exactly similar. We need to work out what? We need to work out AQ. What is AQ? So why don't you write down what you think AQ is? Which should give you, and the fraction is a quarter of OB. So that should give you 3b minus 12a. Hopefully you've got that right. Now, II is find OP. So what did I find first to find OP? Because it is on the line AB, I found what? Right, so write down the equation for the line AB. You know AP is what in the question? What fraction of AB? So I'm just going to divide that all through by 3. So I've now got AP. What does OP equal? OA plus OP. So let's put them in. So that should have been a 4. That should have been a 4. Well, I copied it down from the line above here when I was looking up. Not thinking, so be careful. 12a plus 4b. Right. So I've got that. I've done that. Now, the harder bit, OR. So what did we say? How do we find OR? We need to think of our different ways of doing it, find it goes into R. So one of them, I'll make this big now because of the space required to do working. OR is k lots of 8a plus 4b, because that's multiple, which gives me 8ka plus 4kb. As R lies on AQ, what can you write OR equals? What can you write OR as equal to? Correct. You can also say OR equals OA plus a multiple of AQ. So let's put those in. Got that. Let's just put that together. Now, what do we do with these two? We compare the B's and the A's. So we know 8k equals 12 minus 12m, the A's. For the B's, 4k equals 3m. So m equals 4 over 3k. We can now put that into that. So 8k equals 12 minus 12 lots of You should be able to do the rest for yourself to find k. I'm just going to write it down. You do it on your own. What is the bit we don't forget, having found out k, to put it back into OR? Because OR is a half of 8a plus 4b, which equals 4a plus 2b. Right, that's done. Well done. Now, remember, there are more worksheets on my grade mathstutor.com. Hit subscribe to the videos to get more when we did it, and try my worksheet at mygrade9mathstutor.com.